New Testament Greek text. Look at you. You're excited. You can't wait to look at it on 1 Peter. I'm referring to the Greek dualism between body and soul, but rather the Hebraic sense of the whole person. He says, see the use of this noun with its latter sense elsewhere in 1 Peter, especially in chapter 3 and verse 20. Somebody turn over 1 Peter 3:20 and read. Okay. The ESV. That's what I have, the ESV. I know there's some other versions that word that a bit differently, but when you look at that, right? They didn't obey when God's patience waited in the days of Noah while the ark was being prepared. Is the idea, and especially from Peter's background, Peter being a good Jew, by the way, is the idea from the Hebrew side of this of it encompasses the whole person, not just right. There's not this huge division, which really comes later. Doesn't come later, but it really gets pronounced later as far as the Greek philosophy goes between body and soul. With me? Now, taken down the road too far, with anything, if taken down the road too far, with anything, if taken down the road too far, goes to a bad spot. If you start thinking about that there's this huge division or this huge gap between body and soul, that gets to a spot that ancient Christians found to be heretical. It's called Gnosticism, where the soul is what we worry about. The physical we don't, and there's a whole division and there's a dualism that really does some kind of harm. And that salvation encompasses the way that we live now, not just what person or time the Spirit of Christ in them was indicating when he predicted the sufferings of Christ and the subsequent glories. It was revealed to them that the goal of what God has and the subsequent glories. That there was who are saying things like Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah, Ezekiel is another one. There's going to come a time when there's going to be a new covenant. Not like the covenant I made with Israel that they've trampled all over, but a new one. Then the law to be written on their hearts, and this idea of the Spirit dwelling in them. And I wonder, with these guys who are prophesying this, they're going, okay, right? When? Okay, right? When? And how? Or what time? Caesar Augustus, there's going to be a baby born. Caesar Augustus, there's going to be a baby born. And this is what's going to happen with it. And they don't. But what is really neat, and what I want us to take away from this really quickly, is this idea of going, they were serving not themselves, but you. And I know this is something we get, but I'm just going to hit it really quickly. That we sorry, I got a duplicate. Sorry, I got a duplicate slide in there. Here we go. All right, now, here we go. Verse 13. Therefore, preparing your minds for action, and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. As obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance, like that of a lamb without blemish or spot. He was foreknown before the foundation of the world, but was made manifest in the last, an older translation, and I can't remember exactly which one it is. There is one that will talk about, gird up the loins of your mind. Anybody ever heard that? Okay, that Peter's hinting at. Okay, there's something here, something here that Peter, I think, is alluding to. And if you think of it this way, all right, think of it, this idea of gird up the loins of your mind And then you read on through this, and you start talking about the precious blood of Christ, that of a lamb without blemish or spot. I think, girding up your loins, right? Ready to go. And then when he puts this in there, right? And so you kind of has in there. Just as